Hello students. Before I get down to ice sheets and proceed after ice sheets further on, wherein highland and mountain type, that's the last region which we'll be covering. I wanted to just tell you all more about the tundra climate, what explanation they've given in the text also. Now, here they are saying over here, when you compare, you see it is the tundra climate is basically close to the poles than the taiga. The temperature here ranges are large but not larger than the taiga. So the winter temperatures are not as severe as taiga, because if you see on the map or the location, the tundra is closer to the sea while the taiga is away from the ocean body. The temperatures here are influenced by the maritime location. Now, when we talk about maritime location, what is maritime location? Maritime location is something what is relating to or near or living near the sea. So that's the location. That's how it is influenced. The temperatures are influenced by the sea. Though this region experiences daylight for almost 6 months, the day temperatures are not very high. Why so? Because the sun's rays are oblique. When we talk about oblique, what do you mean by oblique? They are in slanting direction and little insolation is received. Now we've heard about this word quite a bit, insolation. Insolation, as I've told you previously also, it is basically, insolation is nothing but the amount of energy from that from the sun that reaches the earth. So that is, it's slanting in position, and the solar energy which reaches the earth, that is what we are talking about. Now let's start with ice sheet. Now when we talk about ice sheet, what is here where the ice sheet is compared, Esmit, Greenland and Scott South Station in Antarctica, because they are concentrating on, see in the graphs also they've taken those two countries which have similar climates and which are in the same zone, in the same region. So over here, when they've compared these two, they've said that the ice cap climate occurs over interior Greenland and Antarctica. Now, when we talk about the interior Greenland and Antarctica, means the insides. It covers the area around the poles in both the hemisphere. Both the hemisphere meaning north and south hemisphere. This climate is most severe climate on the earth, means it's an extreme climate on the earth. All average monthly temperatures are below zero. If you look at the graphs also, all the monthly average temperatures are below zero. So the reason for these low temperatures is the minimal insolation received. Means minimal insolation, again, the energy, the solar energy which is received is bare minimum, negligible you can say, during half the year. So there is little or no insolation received during half the year. Also, insolation is received at oblique angles. Oblique angles means they are not direct rays, they are in slanting positions. And the perpetual snow cover reflects back the heat received. So it gives it back. Polar anticyclone winds limit the precipitation. What did I talk about precipitation? What is precipitation? Precipitation is that form of water from the atmosphere. Now, water that falls from clouds towards the grounds, especially rain and snow. There is no vegetation which can thrive in this climate. There is absolutely no vegetation. At least in tundra, you all could hear of mosses and lichens. Here, there is absolute no vegetation, barren snow land. Even in summer, the temperature is below freezing point. This area receives very little precipitation. When we come to the climatic characteristics, let's understand the climatic characteristics. Near the poles in both the hemisphere, Antarctica, interior Greenland, permanently frozen portions of the Arctic Ocean and associated islands. So all the nearby islands and this area is permanently frozen. What are the climatic characteristics of the ice sheet? It's warmest month below 0 degrees. The precipitation exceeds evaporation, means there is more of precipitation, which there is no evaporation. All months average below freezing. It has the world's coldest temperature. Extremely meagre precipitation. Meagre precipitation is very small in amount. Meagre means very small in amount in the form of snow. Year-round influence of the polar anticyclone ice cover. What are the related features? Ice and snow covered surface. There is no vegetation. There is no exposed soils. Definitely there will be no soils. Only sea life and aquatic birds. This area is, as I said, when you go up above the tundra. Tundra also is at a little lower level as compared to the ice sheets. So the scientists start their studies about climate, learning about or getting more information about climate change and whether global warming is in these areas above the tundra region. So it's used for scientific exploration. Now here when we talk about the temperate climates, let's understand when we talk about, so they have these normal characteristics. They occur about halfway between the equator and the poles in the middle latitudes. With the help of a diagram, we'll see what exactly it is. This climate has 4 distinct seasons. The summers are short and hot. The springs and falls are mild. The winters are long, cold, and typically snowy. The plant life, the tall grasslands to both coniferous and deciduous trees. The main areas in US, the Great Plains and the Midwest. Then this climate tends to have mixed forests. Now what are mixed forests? They can be deciduous forests and coniferous trees. These two terms wherein the forests are concerned are used very commonly. So what are deciduous forests? They lose their leaves each fall. And what are coniferous forests? They do not shed their leaves and are green year round. Now we spoke about the polar climate in the polar region. They occur near the poles. They are at higher latitudes. Even with this extreme cold, polar bears, penguins, whales and seals are able to survive quite well in this climate. Next, when we spoke about arid, semi-arid, humid, highland, all of those. So what are these? These can be found in many different latitudes. This climate can be several climates at once. It depends upon the elevation. It depends on the altitude or the height, basically, this type of climate. As you go up the mountain, temperatures drop and plant life grows more scarce. It's very natural. If you go to a mountainous area, you all will realize this, that as you go up the mountain, the temperatures drop and plant life grows more scarce. Now next we come to highland or mountain type of climate. Now when we talk about mountain type and highland type of climate, what does this talk about? Let's understand this. As I gave you all a breakup of all the different types of climates, look at these portions. Where does the equator, the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, the different zones which we need to know. We spoke the last lecture, in this lecture also what I am talking about is the tundra region, the polar regions, the Arctic, the ice sheets. So this is what we are talking about. At what latitudes they are. Look at the sun's rays when they are at the equator, they are in straight lines. If at all it has to fall from it at a distance, it will definitely, there will be slanting rays. This you all need to know very well. This is the Arctic Circle, what we were talking about, the Antarctic Circle. The Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, the equator, 0 degrees. The North Frigid Zone, the South Frigid Zone. There are the 2 temperate zones, then there are torrid zones. So this, if you all know the diagram very well, you will be able to answer any kind of questions and understand what kind of vegetation or features are possible in these particular areas if given some graphs. Now here we are talking about the intertropical convergence zone. I hope you all remember that this ITCZ was spoken about in the beginning of these regions. What does this exactly mean? The intertropical convergence zone is a broad trough of low pressure in equatorial latitudes, basically. This is where the northeast and the south trade winds converge. The convergence zone, basically, the convergence zone is lies more or less parallel to the equator, but moves north or south with the apparent movement of the sun. Now basically, if I put it in simple terms, students, ITCZ is nothing but it is that region that circles the earth near the equator, where trade winds of north and south hemisphere come together. It is defined over the eastern portions of the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans, more so at the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. It's basically a low pressure belt. It lies in the equatorial trough, as you all can see over here in the slide. It lies in the equatorial trough, and there's a permanent low pressure feature where the trade winds, basically we're talking about the trade winds laden with heat and moisture, converge to form a zone of increased convection, cloudiness and precipitation. So they cause increased convection, cloudiness and precipitation. And basically for sailors, by sailors it is known as doldrums. You all have heard about this term, what are doldrums. So sailors basically called it as doldrums, and it is defined basically, ITCZ is defined basically as a equatorial zone. So keep that in mind. So I hope this term or this concept is clear to you all. Simple words, again I repeat, it is that region that circles the earth near the equator. If you'll have a look at the diagram, it circles near the equator where trade winds of north and south hemisphere come together, and it is defined over the eastern portions of the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans, and commonly it is known as the equatorial zone. Now highland type of climate. Highland climate is the climate of high land. So this climate is found in high mountain areas. It is found on single mountains such as Mount Kilimanjaro, and also large areas of high elevation such as the Plateau of Tibet. The Plateau of Tibet averages 20,000 feet above sea level. It is the largest area of highland on earth. This climate is sometimes called the alpine climate. This is the Plateau of Tibet. There are no seasons in highland climate. Any seasonal differences would only be felt at low elevations near the bottom of the mountain. The type of vegetation that grows in highland also depends on the elevation. At the base or the bottom of the mountain, the vegetation will be same as the surrounding climate type. So a mountain in the rainforest will have a rainforest at the base. As you move up in the elevation, it will change to plants that can survive colder weathers. Eventually, there will be no vegetation at very high points, at very high elevations. In fact, on high mountains, you can see what is called a tree line or timber line. Now, what is this? A tree line is a clear elevation line that divides where trees are able to survive from areas that are too harsh for them to live. Most mountains have different tree lines depending on temperature, soil and moisture. So the identity of this type of climate is through a tree line, wherein basically it shows that a particular tree will be able to survive from areas that are harsh for them to live. Now with the next diagram you all can see what is a tree line. So coming to this geographical distribution and all, before that, here they've in the on page 56 they have put two graphs and they've compared Shimla in India and El Alto in Bolivia. So given these two in comparisons, what are they trying to say is highland climates are governed by topographical climate. In high mountains, large changes in mean temperatures occur over short distances. Types of precipitation, its amount and intensity, in what intensity, they vary across highlands. As I told you about tree line, temperature decreases with increasing altitude. This is a main characteristic of highland or mountain type. A vertical zone of climatic types with increasing elevation in the mountain environment is found. Now we talk about the geographical distribution. It is distributed widely over Earth, particularly concentrated in higher reaches of mountains in Asia, Central Europe, Western, North and South America. The climate depends over here. What are the characteristics over here? The climate depends basically on altitude, location on leeward side. I've told you leeward and windward side. Orographic rainfall, snowfall in higher reaches. Coniferous trees also I have told you, the leaves remain green throughout the year in higher reaches. Tropical deciduous shed their leaves to evergreen in lower reaches. Lateralite soils. What kind of soil is there? Lateralite soils. Grazing and pastures. Now when we talk about grazing and pastures, what do we talk about? What does grazing means? It is basically grazing is a method of animal husbandry where domestic livestock are allowed to consume wild vegetations outdoor, or to crop and eat in a field. Basically, grazing is to crop and eat in a field. And pastures, when we talk about meadows, a land covered with grass. There's terrace cultivation and there is tourism. So tourism is also one of the attractions in this place. So with this we come to an end with lesson 4, and what all we have completed. This is all about climatic regions. So what all we have completed is we try to understand what is the meaning of climate. How can we distinguish between weather and climate? I had started off with that. And how climate has an enormous influence on the pedological process, because the climate and the soils in the region determine the land cover condition of the region. And agriculture is something that determines the food habits of the population in a region, which is influenced by the climate. So all the classification of climate and identification of climatic regions was done. So the first thing what I completed was equatorial rainforests. I told you all about the climatic characteristics about the equatorial forests. They are dense 3-layered vegetation, huge tall hardwood trees, iron-rich soils. The tribes inhabit the dense forests. There is chemical weathering over here. The second we went to was tropical monsoon climate. So what is the individuality of the tropical monsoon climate? It has paddy rice agriculture, and there are large hoofed eaters. Then I spoke to you all about what is orographic rainfall. Basically rain produced when a mountain diverts or deflects. I spoke to you all about biodiversity over here, because the spectrum of biodiversity in this type of climate narrows down as compared to tropical rainforests. And the third one we went to was the tropical savanna type of climate. The tropical savanna type of climate, what I spoke to you all was about What factors are there? The abiotic factors, the biotic factors. Basically, the abiotic factors play an important role over here. Means abiotic means the physical rather than the biological. And it here it talks about the living and non-living resources that affect the living organisms. I discussed about ITCZ, giving you all information that it's basically an equatorial zone. Then we came to we covered tropical deserts or arid type of climate. So desert type of climate we already know about. I spoke to you all about the place in Rajasthan or Haryana. And what is arid region? The arid region here, it is characterized by severe lack of water, which prevents growth and development of plant and animal life. I mean, there is no vegetation. I spoke to you all about in this the features of tropical desert or arid type of climate is it has xerophytic vegetation. What does that mean? It is drought resistant. When we talk about deserts, we know about Sahara, the Kalahari, and what kind of soil does it have? It has saline soil, and agriculture is practiced near the oasis. We are well aware of what does oasis mean. Then there is the characteristics is basically it has low or no humidity, and it has a rain shadow condition, wherein rain shadow condition basically what does that mean? The mountain ranges block all the plant growing in the rainy weather, so there's loss of moisture in the arid conditions. Then we went to Mediterranean type of climate. Mediterranean type of climate, I spoke to you all about the flora and fauna. It is the most pleasant type of climate, and most of the population prefers this climate. So you'll see flowers, you'll see forests, sorry, leaves which are evergreen, thick, leathery, and usually small. Then you will see olives. I have told you all about citrus fruits, tangerine, oranges, sweet limes, lemons, all citrus fruits grown over here. Animal husbandry. What is animal husbandry? I told you all about what is animal husbandry. Basically, it's a practice of animal care of farm animals, or you can say breeding, farming, and management and production of all the domestic animals. So the winter, so olives is very famous, olive oil, favorable climate which leads to development of tourism and cinema industry. You can talk about California, where in California Hollywood is there, so the cinema industry is flourishing because that type of climate is quite favorable for human existence. Wherein then next comes the China type of climate or humid subtropical climate. The China type of climate, I told you all about what does a subtropical climate mean, what does a humid, semi-arid, arid type of climate mean. So over here in China type of climate, what are the related features? Basically, it has mixed forests, it has some grasslands and different types of vegetation which is there. Japan, southern Japan or Easter Island of Chile come under this category, and coastal Southeast South Africa, all those places which I had discussed. So, what kind of vegetation is here? Rice, wheat, corn, cotton, tobacco, sugarcane, all of that. Next, we went to the marine European type of climate. Here, basically, year-round short green grass is there. Trees shed their leaves. Basically, it has coniferous forests. There are coastal fisheries, pasture and grazing happening. Which kind of vegetation? Wheat and rye. Then next we went to was taiga or subarctic. So taiga and subarctic, what I covered was all these taiga, tundra, and ice sheets. All of those come in this category. Basically, tundra is basically closer to the sea. So the places or the countries which are closer to the sea are in the tundra region, while the taiga is away from any ocean body. And the temperatures here are influenced by the maritime location. So when we spoke about the taiga, it was basically the coniferous forests. There are acidic soils, poor drainage. From here it begins. From here it begins, uh, wherein the animals, different kinds of animals with fur are there. There is hunting and lumbering. There is very less vegetation, no vegetation, if you can say so. So no vegetation begins from here. That's taiga or subarctic region. Then we went to tundra climate. I spoke to you all in detail about the tundra climate, the kind of animals, the flora and fauna over here. The mineral and oil resources are here. Hunting and fishing is there. Inuits. There are swamps, wetlands where wild plants grow. The sun rays are oblique. There is less amount of insulation. Then there is polar anticyclone belts which are near to permafrost. Permafrost basically it's frozen for at least 2 consecutive years. Then it is called as permafrost. Then I covered ice sheet in this lecture, in this class. That was it talks basically about the characteristics wherein Antarctica, and keeping in mind Antarctica and Greenland are concerned. So that was covered over here, and it is basically warmest month is below 0 degrees. Then there is no precipitation. All months average below freezing. It has the world's coldest temperature, ice sheets, ice and snow covered surface. There is absolutely no vegetation. There are no soil. There is only sea life. There's aquatic sea life and aquatic birds. This is specially for scientific exploration. And the last what I completed was highland or mountain type. That's a high altitude region. So that was the last one what I spoke about. And how do you differentiate between each type of climatic zones is something what you all will listen to the videos, go through the videos, go through the text, understand, relate it to one another. Through your knowledge, you all are going to answer questions, and any assignment given later from here on has to be in your own words. So definitely solve these exercises wherein this lesson is concerned. And world map also, definitely practice maps wherever, whichever chapter has maps in it. Kindly see to it that you will practice those maps, and practice it over and over and again, so that you all can do it with precision. And this gets to an end with the fourth chapter, where all the low latitude, high latitude, and middle level latitude regions, mid latitude regions, all of those are covered. So this gets to an end with the fourth chapter. The next class will be with the fifth chapter I'll be talking about. That's global climate change, and we are going to study about it in detail. Thank you, class.